And what is up, everybody? It's Sunday night. It's 7 o'clock Eastern, and it's time for Gaming Beyond the Box. The time of week we all look forward to, and a lot of people on the internet may dread. We really don't care about this type of people, now do we? Anyway, fair enough. We got a couple people that are working their way in. They're a little bit late, but like we just said, time waits for no man or panel members. On that note, we got at the bottom. What is up, Mr. Scrub? And what have you been playing, sir?
Hey, what's going on? Good to have everybody here. Eric, Nicholas, everybody in the chat. I've been playing, of course. Can you guess it? Call of Duty. But
I would never guess. No.
Yeah, never be able to guess that. But what I've really been sinking my teeth into is the 2.0 update for Cyberpunk 2077. It's gorgeous. We might talk about it later, but it's good enough that it has completely pulled me off of Starfield, and I'm scared I'm going to try to go through every mission and everything like I did the first go round. I already got about 12 hours in the new update, so it's pretty good, but I'm enjoying it.
I'm not touching it yet because I know what's going to happen if I do.
It's going to happen. It's so much better than the last one, than the 1.0 or the 1.6. Way better. Way better.
Yeah, I'm going to wait right now. I'm not going to touch it yet. All right. And on that one, we have our first guest. And glad to have him with us once again. Eric, what is going on, man?
I'm doing good, gents. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me. It's good to talk games with level-headed people. So, yeah, I'm ready to do this.
Level-headed?
My brother Nick is here, man. I haven't talked to my bro in a while, man.
Yeah, he looks like Bomber, doesn't he? That's ironically he does. A lot, actually. We put a hat on him. He looked just like a damn twin almost.
those glorious beards, man.
Don't worry, I even got the hat with me too, just for the comparisons.
Well, sadly, Bomber can't be here tonight, and we all know why. We're just not going to make that public. But if he wants you to know, he'll let you know. But we're not going to, say why. But anyway, Nick. Dude, it is great to talk to you. Haven't had you on in a while, but then again, we didn't do any shows hardly last year at all. You are one of the scribes for the Iron Lords and lognet.com. And I just read your article about Embracer Group. And wow.
It's a journey.
It definitely is. We're definitely going to touch on that, man. But other than that, how you been doing, dude?
Oh, hanging in there, moving, working. You know how it is when you're an adult. You don't get to have no fun. It's all front to back work, and try to slip in a game here or there for 45 minutes, and sacrificing sleep to play a little bit more video games every day. But try to balance the 19 different games plus the games from 3 years ago that they're updating and making look awesome, and it's endless. It never stops.
Plus kids, work, wife. Yep. Adulting's hard, man. If this is the free trial, I'm not interested in the full product. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I am not subscribing to the life subscription service.
I'm ready to turn in my subscription to Amazon or wherever the fuck I got it from. I don't know though. At my age, it might not be a good idea, so I better shut the hell up. Some of us are getting older now, so yeah, I'm not going to joke on that one. But anyway, Mr. Crispy, you made it. Are you there?
Sorry, I was watching.
Oh, dude,
sports.
Dude, you're good. You're here. So tell everybody what you've been up to besides playing with yourself, sir. While you've been watching football.
Just that, sir.
Oh, okay.
99-cent pork chops. Yeah, gonna be fun, especially in Connecticut. Yeah, so
does Connecticut make a difference with pork chops?
Price wise.
Oh, okay, I got you.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, fair enough. And back from his hiatus, what is up, Centurion, and what have you been up to, sir?
What is up, guys? I know I just decided to spend some time with the wife and just get some things done around here. And
you horrible, evil person.
I know, right? God damn, freaking having to worry about your actual real relationships in life. That whole adulting conversation comes up again.
He touches grass.
I know. I go outside, breathe.
He's touching grass.
Fresh air
He'll
there
touch
is
some
here.
ass.
Oh, I can do that too.
Mm.
Like last night, we were all out drinking, watching a band and everything, and had a good old time there. I had a friend drive about a half hour to come hang out with us. So, yeah, just having a good old time. And when I gaming when I can, and like Nicholas talked about, we are having a hard time just trying to keep up with everything. I'm over here playing Starfield, Remnant 2, Lies of P, and for whatever reason, me and my buddy are now going to start tackling Crime Boss Rockay City because I want to see Chuck Norris come whoop someone's
You know, I'm going to download that on my PS5 to play it, but just because I think it looks hilarious. I mean, it's
So-
got
Dude, I
Chuck
forgot
Norris,
about
Vanilla
that one. Good
Ice.
lord.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
just
what can't be fun about this game?
So here's the funny part. I'm gonna say right now, the acting is somewhat like off because like they don't even refer to it like I need my candy. We need to get my candy on the streets, and you're just like, are we really calling the drugs candy at this point? Are we just scared to actually give it a real name? But I mean, it's hilarious. And what's funny is as you play the game, if your wanted level gets to a certain point, that's when they call in Chuck Norris. And the first time you see him, this dude rides in on horseback.
So Texas
Walker,
Ranger
Texas
style.
Ranger style. Yeah.
Yes. Basically, like Chuck Norris is when you get to your like 5-star wanted rating, whatever the hell you want to call it. Basically, he is his own SWAT team.
See, that's the thing, man. If you got Vanilla Ice, Chuck Norris, and all these other people in the game, it's good just for comedic
Madsen,
value.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
well they now have an expansion that just came out a few weeks ago with Danny Trejo.
Oh,
he's
see,
got-
it just gets
that's
better.
what I mean. I know you've got Danny Trejo part of it,
Machete.
and yeah, Machete, and just all these. That's what makes the game so unique. And I don't know, it's kind of hilarious that even though for as cheesy as it is, the reviews seem to be better than Payday 3. I have still yet to try Payday 3, but I've been kind of keeping my eye on like what people are saying about it, and that's where I'm like, I guess I'm glad that we kind of went in on Crime Boss.
Oh, don't worry. I've had Payday 3 for 5 days now, and I still haven't been able to play it. So
Right, it's downloaded. Yeah, I'm there. It's like, well, it's on my hard drive, but I'll play it eventually.
no,
I
the
didn't
servers
even
were down
download it
all
yet.
weekend. Servers were broken all weekend, so nobody could play.
Oh,
Matchmaking
wow.
didn't.
Is that why it has a
Matchmaking has
terrible
match-
score?
Start.
Yeah,
I think it's also just bad to begin with, but the server issues aren't helping.
Oh, I don't know. I
say,
was asking. I wasn't interested, but
No.
I've never played one of them. I know my son was big into Payday games, but I may try it. It's in Game Pass. What's it gonna hurt?
We tried Payday 2 a while back, and it was just like it was like the game wasn't working right for us, so it kind of was just like, Payday. And now that Payday 3 is out, it's like, do we give this another shot, or do we just kind of hope out that it turns out to be something good? I don't know.
I'd probably wait like Cyberpunk. That's what I would say.
I don't know, man. I played Cyberpunk day one and loved every minute of it.
I played it
played it on
too,
the
and then all of
one.
a sudden I had like game breaking glitches, and I was like,
Yeah.
no. I'm
Yeah, I
good.
got lucky. I never had that issue. I played all the way through that game and was upset when I finished it.
It would not let me go through the mission, and I couldn't go back because it doesn't save. Like, that's what I love about Bethesda games, man. You could really just save whenever the hell you want, and it's much more difficult to try to do that on Cyberpunk. I don't know why. I think they probably changed that now, but when I was playing it
Yeah,
on the
you can
One
quick
X,
save pretty easy now.
yeah, no, when I was playing on the One X, it would have to auto save. So I don't know if they just put the quick save in. I have no idea, but it would literally have to auto save, or I'd finish the mission or whatever. Like, it was very like, bam, you can only do this. And I don't know. I love Bethesda because you can go and be like, this is a great situation to be a douchebag and just shoot everybody. You know what I mean? But then save before it and then go back and be like, okay, I'm going to be good now. And
I
there you
did
go.
that today, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
did that
just change
today.
your narrative.
Corpo.
You know,
Yeah.
But I've only had one game really screw me on my save recently, and that was Watch Dog Legions last year. I think it was when it came out. I played for like 10 and a half hours. Every save was corrupted.
I remember that people complaining like across the board about that happening to them.
Oh, dude, I was pissed.
That
And then I
happened to
went
me a
back-
few months ago.
I went back, played it for like another hour and a half. It lost all that data. I'm like, yep, I'm done.
Wow.
Until I finally saw a tweet one day from Ubisoft saying, well, we fixed it. I was like, okay. But yeah, I was a little upset, man. 10 hours just gone. That's not cool.
A lot of progress.
Yeah. All right. And then the panel pony pumper. What's up, Peniac?
Hey y'all, what's going on? My voice is a little raspy. Went out last night.
Is that cough medicine?
No, no, we were out at a bar listening to a band like Scentless. And,
Well, you went
Yeah,
out
that's it.
last night. Your throat's scratchy. Did you have a mattress on your back that said curb service by any chance?
He was a dog.
Even the dog thought it was funny.
The dog laugh. That's good. That's good.
no, but
Easy, Joe.
good times. Other than that, just clocking the hours in Baldur's Gate 3, big time.
And dealing with his hangover.
That's true. I will not.
Well, at least you
deny
had some protein shakes. That always helps.
Yeah, sure.
Miss Druid Bear. There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm good. But no, that's good. Let's go.
All right. Me, I've been playing Starfield and I just can't seem to quit. I've done most of the major missions now. I'm trying to stay away from that new game plus. So I'm trying not to finish the last story mission because I know I've got that one showing up. So I'm going back trying to do a bunch of the activities and all that good stuff. I think I hit level 41. So I'm curious
Damn,
on
bro.
how many of those things you can actually unlock. Because there's supposed to be no level cap, right?
From what I've heard,
I don't think so, because it's so many levels you can get just to get all of the different badges or whatever on the skill
Right.
tree. I think it's like 300 plus. So yeah,
There's
We're
got to
we're
be.
gonna
dude.
see
There's
that.
tons of
We're
it.
gonna see that in like another 2 weeks or something. Like somebody's gonna get like a level 200.
yeah, to get
or
all of them
something,
is like 350 plus.
Yeah, no, there was already a dude a week and a half ago, the guy who came up with the contraptions on how to auto mine and stuff there a couple weeks ago. He figured out a way to get to level 300, I think, in 7 hours or something.
Wow.
So
What?
That's crazy.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah,
This shit was
Ugh.
taken down.
because what they found out is when you set up on certain planets, the time is relative to how fast time works on the planet you land on. So if you get a planet with a really fast day-night cycle and set it up to produce stuff for that, like
Yep.
farms XP, if you
I saw
build
that.
a massive production facility on that planet, you can farm like 50 levels in like 10 minutes, basically.
What?
Like one
Oh,
day on
I'm
that
gonna-
planet would be like
thank you,
2400
sir.
on another planet. Yeah, day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
They touched on that in an article that the planet that they talked about was Venus. That's how detailed Starfield really is.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Is so most planets actually spin counterclockwise, where Venus actually rotates clockwise, and they even put that into the game. How Venus actually orbits and spins differently. But also, I've seen so many videos about how people literally 1 hour on Venus is 100 hours universal time.
Yep.
And that's where, yeah, it's insane. Like, yeah, like Nick said, you can set up on a planet that has like that spins faster. I mean, it's slower. And then all of a sudden you're able to almost like time travel in a
Wow.
small way.
And I'm guessing Uranus just gets stretched.
That was good, sir.
Has anybody
Sorry,
ran into
I'm-
the guy that hits up that hails your ship asking if you know how to get to Uranus?
No, but I
No,
blew
I
up.
hadn't
I
ran
blew.
into
I
one.
blew. I blew up the extended warranty ship yesterday again. So, well, actually, I take
Oh,
that back.
there's
The
more
first
than
time,
one.
yeah, the first time he got away because he hit his grav drive and jumped. But yesterday when he came up talking to me about my ship's warranty, I got him before he was able to jump.
Oh my god, that is awesome. I didn't.
It
even
is
know
so
that was
funny they
in.
come up and give you that message about your ship's extended warranty. I was like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And the funny part, my character's bad enough now. I've got the wanted trait, but bounty hunters don't mess with me anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
You
they
are
don't.
the
If you
bounty
got that
hunter.
managed ship, it makes it harder too. They grav jump away from you before you blow them
Oh,
up.
yeah. Yeah, because I made it a point to get the mantis.
Yeah.
And that was not an easy feat if you've not done it. I'm not going to give it away for anybody that's not. You definitely going to put in some work to get that ship.
Yep.
You're
Yeah.
definitely going to put in some work to get it.
There's some tricks to the trade. You either know it or you get lucky. So on that
Yeah.
puzzle.
Well, you're not going to get too lucky because it'll take you out pretty quick.
Yeah.
With the turrets and the robots and everything else, yeah, it'll do you in
Mhm.
really fast. But enough of the Starfield thing. Let's talk about the first topic at hand. Get it out of the way. Anybody remember did Xbox spring a leak this week?
They sprang
Oh
a
yeah,
big-
did they? I didn't hear too much about it at all this week. Maybe, possibly. Tell me about it.
Did you just not open Twitter?
Must
Is
have
that what
muted.
happened?
Do tell.
Muted the right people.
Oh man, that was hilarious.
I think we're gonna let the way Crispy's being real quiet. I know he's got some thoughts on this. Go ahead, Crispy. What was your thoughts on the leak?
Yeah, I thought it was the FTC. I think everybody did right out for it. And then it got confirmed that Microsoft downloaded it to the wrong server, basically, and was like,
On Windows, imagine that, right?
oh, dude, this is where I get weird, bro. Like, I almost think like they were being a little, I don't know, like, hey, we're being super transparent right now. I don't know, like, because right after that, CMA, bam. I'm just, it's weird, you know what I'm saying? I'm got the tinfoil hat on. I'm just like, I'm Frank Tater, motherfucker. Like, you know, come on, man. Like, think about it. You know, like, am I completely out of the box? Do I really have the tinfoil hat on? Or they released this right before the CMA has basically preliminary said, yeah, we're good now. Ubisoft's getting a check. Everybody's getting a check. Okay. Everybody's getting content or the ability to, you know, sell this product on their service and charge people for it. I mean, logically, like, this was, you know, a little too transparent. Maybe it was, you know, something bad, but I don't feel like anybody's like getting outrageous about it. Yeah, there's, you know, the stands. I mean, come on. But I mean, for the most part, is it bad that you see a company's financials and everything and how they view the market? I don't think so, personally.
No, not really. But
It's hard to see. I mean, really think about it. When's the last time we've seen a company just release their financials like that? I mean, yes, it's a subsidy of Microsoft itself, but it's a pretty large subsidy. So come on. Like, it's a little weird.
I do agree the timing was definitely strange. No doubt about that one.
How
No
much
doubt.
you want to bet that the person who did accidentally, I'll put that in quotes, leaked is still a Microsoft employee? Probably pretty low.
Well,
And
let's
rightfully
be
so.
honest.
Rightfully
Would they not, if this hurt them really bad, would they have not said, hey, we fired this person? They haven't
No.
done that yet.
No,
no,
doing that.
no,
Or
no,
the five
cut-
person
cut-
would have came online. Yeah, said something.
Now that person fell on the golden, like, hard construction workers rule of thumb. They were fired the moment they hit the Google Drive upload button.
And got
that-
paid
Yeah.
for it, right?
38 terabytes. Oh my goodness.
And I know what you're getting at with that, Nick. When I was in high
before you
school,
hit the ground.
yeah, when I was in high school, dude, I worked for this asshole, and he was like, "Well, if you fall off the scaffolding, you're fired before you hit." Oh, okay, that's great. Yeah, I knew exactly where you were going with that comment.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because it's like it's so many people forget like all these multi-billion-dollar conglomerates. They have people, normal people that work there that can easily screw stuff up just as much as any other company. Like your mom and pop shop can screw stuff up, but also Microsoft can have a dude that uploads the wrong PDF file.
And it happens more than you think too.
Oh, absolutely. The company I work for, we were in the middle of being acquired, and they accidentally uploaded the entire like board meeting on voting to sell to the main company webpage.
Oh, damn.
To our
That's
HR
horrible.
portal. So we had like a 52-minute video conference that was saying smack dab where you punched in the morning. And we're like, oh, what's this? And everyone's like, nothing. Don't worry about it. Don't click on it. Don't watch it.
That's kind of like our version of sending a text to the wrong person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I admit I have done it.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely have done it.
Mhm.
I was
For sure.
actually,
Hell, it's like when you send a text message to the wrong person, you're like, oh, it's like that.
or you get the
Supposed to
wrong
go to you.
text.
Yeah,
'Cause I
Exactly.
actually, I was sitting at home here one night a couple of weeks ago and got a text from one of my guys about, I love you, honey. And I'm like, I text back, said, love you too, darling.
Night, boo.
And he texts me back, goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry, boss. I'm like, yeah, okay. But it happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, whether it was on purpose or not, it was accidentally on purpose. Let's say that. That sounds better,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
and in a weird way, it's just kind of like it made a lot of news, it stirred up a lot. But I mean, would you guys agree that ultimately it seemed like it kind of, I won't say it died down completely, but it didn't seem to be super crazy?
It was
So to speak?
2 days
Yeah.
of chaos,
Yeah.
and then it just kind of vanished.
Well,
Yeah.
you had your typical, like Crispy said, you had your stands.
Right.
They were trying to make an issue of it. But yeah, I'm with you, dude. It really just kind of died out. There wasn't, you can't stretch things but so far sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. Especially when the fact of a lot of this stuff was from supposedly 2020. We're in 2023. Half of the stuff has not even happened, or we don't have information on the stuff that is available saying, oh, this will happen 2024, 2025. We found out what Starfield was supposed to come out in 2022 instead, or 2021. Right, so, and we know the game's out already. So for us to know that it was supposed to come out 2 years earlier, ooh, wow. All it really showed us was COVID messed up a lot of companies a lot more than we thought.
And if you're one of those people that sit and read through all that trying to find that aha moment, you need to get out of the house. Holy shit.
I think the only one that I really enjoyed was the Phil Spencer email train where he's talking about buying a PS5 and he's like, man, I had to buy a bundle. I'm like,
that one
same.
and the Nintendo one. Yeah.
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 I
The
was
Nintendo
like,
one
same,
brought the
homie.
biggest
I had to
amount
buy a
of news, I think.
PS5 bundle too. Same. We're right here with you. I had to do the 2 controller and a game joint. It's all good.
It'd be funny if in that email where he's like, I keep missing Wario's tweet, man. I keep missing his notification when it goes live. I keep missing the goddamn PS5.
Did anybody see the conversation between the guys at Microsoft that were wanting to get the engineers working to see if Game Pass game streaming would work on the PS5 web browser?
Yep.
Briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It was a little bit of an interesting reading this stuff. But I want to say the one advantage that Microsoft has with this whole situation is now they can be like, if this was an accident or intentional or whatever, they can now listen to what people are saying, because now it's kind of like, oh damn, we don't want a premium console without access to a disk drive.
Mhm.
Controlled leak.
Yeah, see, that's the only thing. I really still doubt the idea of controlled leaks, but that's my own tinfoil hat theory. But it just definitely, but if that does come to fruition where that console does exist and it comes out looking exactly like that, now that's where the other half of the equation is. I also do believe that we all know that PlayStation is doing an all digital console with a standalone disk drive that you would buy separately. And who's to say Microsoft isn't going to do the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just glad with the leak with as far as the console, they weren't trying to do like a quote unquote pro version. Because we've seen now so far, we're what, almost 3 years into this generation, and you're not seeing any game max out either one of the consoles. And I'd be pretty pissed if we jump to a pro to make more money and you're still waiting on these devs and these games to really put the full force of their efforts to max out these consoles. And usually you would see this going further along in the console cycle these last couple of generations, where 3-4 years in you're starting to see some great stuff out of it. So I'm glad they didn't decide to do a pro if they go by the leaks like we're saying. Phil even said, yeah, this is some old stuff. We'll be glad to see the new stuff when we bring it out. So I'm excited to see what really will come out of this.
I think the biggest thing that I have against a pro console, I don't want a pro PS5 console or a pro Xbox console, because until you full-heartedly abandon previous generation, don't
Thank you.
Don't tell me I need to buy a pro console, because you guys won't even cut the cord on PS4 and releasing on Xbox One. Nonetheless, don't tell me that you need me to buy a pro console to give me a next gen experience when you've been making your developers build around last generation hardware. Because I'm not going to buy a PS5 Pro or an Xbox Series Pro if the game's still available on PlayStation 4, Xbox One. That's ridiculous. And to me, I could see the argument for the pro consoles and the Xbox One X back in 2016, 2017. Those were good mid-gen refreshes. I do not think they have a solid argument for one now. Like, what are you aiming for? Like, so you can get 60 FPS maybe across the board. You're not going to do 8K. You're not going to do you're not going to do 120 FPS
I think,
on all the games.
Can I just say this? I think 4K 60 is a viable option at this point between both consoles. That's not the case with the PC, but I mean, let's be honest here. The consoles, both of them have had some real big hiccups. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I say, like, hey, like, there's certain titles that, yeah, you're going to get the best experience possible. And Spider-Man 2 could be one of them, by the way.
Could be.
I mean,
get out of here.
Well, I mean,
It's
seriously.
going to be. In my
It's
opinion,
going to be
of course.
magical.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to make my PS5 glow with an aura that you man, you can't even.
Oh, yeah?
You know what? You keep speaking, sir.
Is it going to glow because it's running too hot? What is it?
No, it's just because it has those two light strips up the middle of it. That's all.
I got it.
Yeah, I kind of.
But see, I'm with you, Nick. I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. I think it's way too early for these pro editions. And I had people dogpiling me over that. Oh, well, that's the reason these games are coming out. They're not really running well. No, because they're still going back to the old gen.
Mm-hmm.
That's who they're developing for still. And even Jim Ryan said they believed in generations, and that didn't work out for anybody else either, did it?
Well, and two, I think the biggest problem is a lot of developers have decided to just axe optimization to use things like DLSS as a substitute for optimization. Like even when the Remnant 2 devs came out and said, oh yeah, we basically had this at like 720p and then just like cranked it with filtering and whatever the technical jargon was. And then we'll just optimize it later kind of deal. I was kind of like, okay. It's definitely a thing you can do. And I think that things like DLSS and stuff is important, especially in the console space. In order to get your 4K 60. But the thing is like, in order to do a pro console that does 4K 60 across everything, which is what you'd have to do to say, hey, this is worth upgrading to, you're talking serious dollars still, because a lot of these big games, if you want to run them 4K 60 on PC, you're talking serious PC hardware too. You're not talking, you're not running a 2070 Ti to get 4K 60 and
We're
you know,
talking
the
like
latest
a
game that just
$3,000
dropped
rig,
or
right?
anything else,
Basically a
right?
Bitcoin miner at this point. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, but and that's the thing is like the thing is as development keeps on going, the hardware is going to keep getting stronger in order to keep supporting what these games need to do. So I don't think we're ever going to see a point where consoles are going to do 4K 60 or 4K 120 all the time across all games, because
No.
games aren't just developed like that for console, and consoles just straight up don't have the horsepower to do that.
Right.
Unless you like,
I
there is
agree.
weird situations. Like there is things like Spider-Man where it's so built to the specific console it's running on that you can get that 4K 60 ray tracing, everything else. But like, I think that speaks more volumes to Insomniac and their knowledge of the PS5 than it does expectations for third-party developers.
Yeah, and
I
I also
agree.
think with
literally-
them being first party, I think they have a lot
that's the best
longer of a
purchase
leash, right?
Sony has made.
Than they would. Because third parties, you know, have external shit working against them, and it's like they need to get their games out at a certain point in time, and plus they're developing for, you know, 2 Xboxes, 1 PS5, a billion PC configs, maybe even the
Handhelds.
3 older Xboxes and the 2 older PS4s. So it's like, yeah, like how do you even manage that? I have no idea. So it's going to be awesome when everyone severs the connection to last gen, I think.
I agree.
And just
Definitely.
yeah, just get rid of those 5 older SKUs and let's go.
Yeah, it's gonna be
and-
interesting
and-
to see how the rest of the gen plays out, how long it will last in the whole nine. Because remember when we first started the gen, everyone was like, "Man, these games are loading so fast. This is crazy. Like I don't even have time to tweet in between my loads and this and that, right?" And it's like, and the factor part of that is, like we were talking about, is the cross gen aspect. So when you think about the PS5 and, you know, the Series X, it's loading what's considered to be a cross gen game, which is basically built on last gen stuff, right? So yeah, it's loading faster. I don't know if you guys are noticing some of the games that are built just for the current gen, they ain't loading as fast.
You want to see a loading screen? Baldur's Gate 3. Oh my goodness. It's like, come
It's
on.
chock
Let's
full.
go. Like, come on. Like it's up there in like the 10 to 15 second range. And
So
I know
yeah,
that
see, so it's like we're
maybe
starting to
doesn't
kind of get
sound
back to where we were,
ridiculous,
you know.
it's like, but yeah.
Right.
Be glad
Right.
you didn't play it on Stadia because it took a hell of a lot longer than that.
Listen, but
I'm glad I
have,
didn't play a lot of things on Stadia. Let's just go
I've
there.
got a $2,800 PC, and Baldur's Gate 3 beats the hell out of it. So I avoided that on console because I was like, this is not going to be as much fun.
Mm-mm.
It's got to be optimization with that shit.
It's
Things
only
like-
when I load a game save though. So
Oh
like,
yeah, if you
yeah.
have to reload a save, if you die and reload a save, you can go
yeah,
grab
it
a cup
takes
of
a bit.
coffee.
But
and
like
come
going
back.
from like region to region or even dungeon to outer, that's like a second or two. So that's not,
Yeah.
not a big deal.
Mhm.
But yeah, loading saves is like holy smokes. Yeah.
Starfield can have some long loading screens too sometimes.
Yes, and sometimes Diablo connecting and everything.
I mean, the one
Oh, yeah.
nice thing, Wilmy, I will say, is that if I'm in the game and I just back out and just, you know, shut the console off, like if I'm done, you know, I just click on it and bam, I'm right there. Like
That
within
quick
like
resume is
15
amazing.
seconds, and I'm right back in the game, or I'm in the pause screen, and I'm just like, well, damn, like I wasn't expecting that. So like I get what you're saying, like, dude, like we used to be able to like do all kinds of things while shit was loading, and now it's
Right.
like we're being mad about things that, at least at my age, you know, 36 years old, I haven't experienced until now with the Series
Mhm.
X. By the way, you know, that's where I go and say like this whole fathom of like that's third, you know, mid-gen refresh. I mean, prices change. What if they drop the discless version to $400 and then bring out a upgrade? And maybe it's $600. Maybe. Is that the worst thing? It's an option for us hardcore gamers. You know what I'm saying?
It's worse if it's,
it's
600
not-
without a disk drive. It's worse.
No,
yeah.
it's going to have a disk drive. That's what I'm
It
saying.
got to. Yeah.
It's going to have all the bells and whistles. Like if Microsoft, they have.
I don't know,
they
man. Disk
supported-
Drive is a Game Pass competitor, so I think they're going to.
No. I don't think they would. That's only because people hate Phil, but I'm like, dude, this dude's a gamer and he listens to people, even if they're not like, in his camp. They're like, dude, like, how are you gonna get rid of the disk drive? That's probably what the comments were on that. And he probably said not a word, but he might have looked at it just to see how people feel. I don't know. Like, that's what I feel like at this point. Like, Xbox is just like, hey, consumer, we actually care about you. I don't know. That's how I feel.
I don't feel like any of them care about us.
I'm
dude.
not.
at
I'm not
all.
$2 trillion
saying that.
mega corporation cares about you. Get
Dude,
the fuck
they
outta
would have.
here.
They would have went Xbox Live Gold a long time ago at that price, and they changed their mind. I'm just saying. I'm not saying they're some kind of angel or something.
That was the
All I'm
funniest joke I've heard
saying.
this week.
All I'm saying is that they at least look at what people are saying. At least you could say that.
Well, I think the thing that keeps Xbox kind of more in check than anything else is they are not anywhere near the market leader right now. So they kind of have to atone to their fan base a lot more. There's certain things you
Right.
can, if you're a market leader, it doesn't matter what you're in, whether you're the iPhone or whatever, or you're, a car manufacturer or whatever. If you're the market leader, there's a certain little bit of like chunk you can
Arrogance.
chunk away. There's a certain little bit of chunk you can take away at your base before they start getting really pissed off. Look at what Mercedes is doing with their like subscription models on their cars.
Heated seats
Oh,
and shit.
Your heated
Oh, yeah,
seats you gotta
BMW
pay
does
your
it too, I
seat
think.
service for.
Yeah.
Or nick a
Yeah, BMW
$20 increase in your subscription service.
Yeah. So like, I think the thing
Offering
is
you,
like,
yeah.
I think Xbox realistically will keep a disk drive kicking around, whether it's a one that you can hook up or wherever the case may be. But let me just say, if Sony comes out and goes, "Hey, we're dropping the disk drive," Microsoft will be there the next day saying, "Hey, disk drive."
No, you're right about that. Absolutely. Yeah.
And if PlayStation and Xbox can figure out a way to charge you $99 for a disk drive you can hook up to your USB, they will do that. Because not only are you paying them for your physical games, they will charge you for the disk drive on top of it. That would be
Well,
just a
I can't
golden
disagree with
opportunity
that
for all
because
of them.
Xbox
involved. They would
is
love that.
Xbox is an accessory based company right now.
Oh yeah.
Like they push the controllers and everything else
Controllers
so
for
damn
sure.
much.
Yeah.
and I'll tell you right now, they sell because, I mean, logically, the controllers I played with in my life, I gotta say, it's the best feeling controller. My hands never cramp, they never feel weird.
And
You
new
know, I
controller,
never.
though.
Well, I mean, I'm not interested in that stuff. I would rather have it being more simplistic than what they're saying, but at the same time, the low latency is going to be like prevalent at some point. And if you play multiplayer games, it does make a difference. It really does. I'm just saying.
So, and at least for me, from what I do for a living in producing stuff and getting it manufactured, I can see that a lot of console manufacturers, especially like how Sony was so quick to say that they're making profits on the PS5 already a couple years back. And we saw how the pandemic actually created a lot of manufacturing issues that drove the cost of materials to create this stuff sky high. I think console manufacturers in general, Xbox and PlayStation, are wanting to take a page out of Nintendo's book. And I think the days of these big companies like PlayStation and Xbox taking a loss on the console just to get a foothold in the consumer market, I think are going away. I think they want to do what Nintendo does, and that's actually develop consoles for a profit, which is kind of like, in my opinion, the way I think of it, which is why we're going to have these mid-gen refreshes that, popped up and people are talking about. And then the one thing they all came out about was, why is it that there's a mid-gen refresh and it looks like they're going to stay the same cost? Well, like, we've seen the PlayStation 5 scale back the size of the heat sink multiple times because I'm pretty sure the materials involved in making that heat sink were extremely expensive when you're making thousands of units.
They
And
changed the materials though, so the material allowed them to make it small.
well, but the whole reason why is you do that to cut back costs.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
actually something.
Yeah, it was
it's
cheaper to
something
make,
I do. It was something I do every single day. Where literally, when it's like, oh, it costs us $1 less to make this now, but when you make that object 5,000 different times, that's $5,000 in savings. So that's where it definitely, I think that these mid-gen refreshes are a way of getting back control of just how inflation and the cost of materials has drove up the cost in building these consoles. Because when the PS5 and the Series X and S were all designed, it was pre-pandemic. It was all based on how materials cost back then. But now we've gone through a crazy part in the economy and the material costs are totally different, which is causing them to think outside the box, which is like, we put a disk drive in this, it's going to make it that much more expensive now. So why don't we make the disk drive an option? Like, you know, it kind of like the Xbox 360 era. With the Xbox 360 era, remember the HD DVD drive?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's what Guardian was saying a second ago.
Yeah, I never bought that. Yeah.
Yep, I remember.
I found
glad
one
I
when they
didn't.
discontinued them for I found one when they discontinued them for $50. Because at the time, Universal Pictures had a contract with HD DVD. So movies like Batman, I want to say Batman Begins, and a lot of Universal production movies were on HD DVD because they were locked into a contract. And that's why when the contract expired, all of a sudden there was this explosion of Universal movies on Blu-ray because the contract expired and they were just waiting to go over to Blu-ray, which was the winning format. But that's where it shows that you
Thank
can
Lord
have
for
a
that,
standalone
yeah.
drive. Oh God, yeah, for sure. Like, dude, I'm so happy that Blu-ray disc won out on that, because it's actually kind of funny. Most games nowadays, especially PlayStation games, are all printed on Blu-ray discs, and just the amount of data that you can fit on a Blu-ray disc is absolutely insane.
You can fit 100 on one, and which is kind of crazy that Final Fantasy Rebirth is going to be on 2 discs. It's like, holy fuck, man. Really?
Maybe they're
Damn.
trying to go back to the roots back in the day where you
Yeah,
had
want
the
that
2
retro
disc,
feeling.
4 disc,
Nostalgia.
double
Jesus.
cartridge pack, all those
extra thick CD jewel case. Yeah,
the game just stops
you
and
know it's
says,
good.
"Please put in disc number 2."
Because
Remember-
Part 7 had what, 4 or 5 discs
Four.
with it?
Yeah,
4
4.
disc,
Four.
yeah, 4 disc, yeah.
And Metal
Remember,
Gear Solid had a couple too.
Blue Dragon, the Xbox game.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that was at least 2. I think it may have
I
been
think
3.
so.
I think Lost Odyssey had 2 discs as well, didn't it?
Yep. That was the one I was thinking of. Lost Odyssey. You took it right out of my mouth, dude. But yeah, I
still
Those
think
were the
remember-
days, guys. Those were the days.
I remember Lord of the Rings: The Third Age on GameCube having 3 GameCube discs. And
And I
just
remember-
stacked them up. They stacked them up like pizzas in there too, so they just scratched the hell out of each other on top of each other.
And I don't know if you
Oh,
guys ever
man.
played it. There was a PC game called Phantasmagoria, and it was
Yep.
strictly PC. That thing had like 6 or 7 discs. And that was for PC.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 2 had 4 discs. And basically, you'd go to an area and go, please insert disc 3. You'd insert disc 3. You'd complete the quest there, and then you go back to where you were. It'd be like, insert disc 2. And you get all-
Oh my god, man.
Like choose your own adventure books or something. Yeah.
I think that was also how Mass Effect 3 worked. I remember that little pop-up screen where it'd go black and have like the little
Yep.
bar across the screen. Insert the other disc.
Yep. It did.
They'd have sit there and ask
Yeah.
your brother where he put the other disc. You're like, dude, where's the other Mass Effect disc? I don't know.
But yeah, at some point,
One
I
of them
agree
had a
with Nick.
scratch in it.
They're gonna become Nintendo, and they're gonna nickel and dime you for everything.
Yep.
And the bad part, there'll be people standing for it.
Yep.
Oh yeah. You'll never run out of stands, man. Stands will be there for everything.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, thanks to stands, we now have a generation of 3s that think they're 10s already. So you guys think about that one for a second. I mean, it's true. I'm not lying. You see it on Twitter every day. Or on
Mhm.
X. You get the messages. Come over here and look at my OnlyFans. Girl, you look like a horse's ass. Look at that OnlyFans.
Like me or the
There's always a
PS5.
bar. There's
PS5.
somewhere.
My
Yeah,
answer's
yeah, me or
always going
PS5.
to be PS5.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's oh my god, those things annoy the shit out of me. Here's the
See,
PS5. I'll take a broken
Uh.
PS4. How's that?
Listen,
One's
I
been
just,
in the
I just
toilet.
remember being in high school. You spent your whole like high school years hoping that your nudes wouldn't leak, and now people be selling them for $4 like they're Happy Meals. It's wild to me.
Well,
Right.
the funny thing about it now, Nicholas, when we had to worry about something leaking, it was on a Polaroid. You didn't have to worry about the internet.
What are you talking about, dude? When I was young, we didn't have to worry about any of it.
Yeah,
you just
it
had to worry
wasn't
about
gonna
being
leak.
found in the ditch drunk. That's it.
Yeah,
You had to
there's a
take the-
picture
you
of
had
me in
to-
college. It was a Polaroid or one of those cameras where you got to click, you take a picture, and then you got to scroll to load it back up.
Oh,
Take
one
a
of those
picture.
Like, I'll be right back.
those
I'm going to the
color-
photo map.
Instamatic or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And now we did have the Polaroid instant cameras. Though.
Yeah. I'm
Back in
glad
the 80s.
internet was
Do they
not
still sell
around.
those cameras that come preloaded with like a roll, and then once it's done, and then you take it in and someone processes it?
Probably.
Yeah, I would
I live in
imagine.
a small enough town that they sell them at our Walmart.
Yeah, they still
should
make
look the
some
next time.
Polaroid cameras.
And Horn said ugly
that'll
girls
do
need
that.
money too. They
That's
do.
right. Somebody will buy it. There's always someone
Oh, yeah.
who will buy.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
Speaking of, here you go. The real gaming question. Speaking of Happy Meals, anyone remember the Burger King 360 games?
I
Yes.
do. Sneak King in them.
Yeah, sneaking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, remember that
Creepy
very well.
ass King. Holy Jesus.
I played it for like 5 minutes. Like, yeah, fuck this. I'm done.
Yep.
I think most people did that.
Shit, I'm out.
But now to the next topic. And we're going to let Nick take off with this one. Give us your
All
thoughts on
right.
Embracer, Nick. What's
They're
the
idiots.
whole deal with them? Other than somebody got their incels over their head.
Embracer Group is one or two things. They are either the most improperly managed investment company that's ever existed in the past 20 years, or they are the best money laundering company that's ever existed in the past 20 years. They are either one or the other.
Salute to that.
Yeah, because like the weirdest thing with Embracer Group, I've been following it for like the past like 5 years, because as soon as they started buying up old IPs is when I started paying attention to them. Like when they bought the Time Splitters IP for like $15,000, I'm like, all right, what are y'all doing over there? Because you're doing something weird. And what I originally thought the thought pattern was behind Embracer Group is they were going to buy up a bunch of AA game IPs and then do like, you know, little profits basically. So, you know, spend say, you know, 5 million developing a game, sell it, and they make 10 million. So they'd make like little earnings on a bunch of small projects. And then they started buying things like 4A games. And I'm like, okay, so you're also doing the big studios. And then they started doing like the big deals where they're like, hey, we're buying the rights to Lord of the Rings. We bought all these underperforming Square Enix studios. And they just kept adding and stacking. I sat there and was like, their operational costs have to be insane. Like you said, not even acquisition wise, just employee staff wise, supporting all that and doing all that. Like there was acquisitions that made sense, like buying Saber Interactive, that's a support studio to support all the studios you buy. Totally kind of made sense at the time. And then at some point I was just like, this doesn't make any sense, because for an investment firm like they are, I would have thought they'd do a 10-cent route, like 10-cent invests to be a majority holder in a lot of companies, but they don't want to run them or own them. They just want the money. They want nothing to do with the actual company. But Embracer was buying up all these companies, and now all of a sudden, one single deal falls through, which I don't fully believe one single deal has catapulted them to failure this quickly. Because the deal was supposed to be worth $2 billion, but it was across 5 years. So $2 billion across 5 years wouldn't be enough to fund all their studios across the board. So I don't know if they're using it as an excuse, but apparently it was with some Saudi firm for a large sum of money. And now they're just laying off and shutting down studios. And now they've kind of even hit the point now that this week they kind of threatened that they were going to shut down studios. Like, hey, come buy these studios or else we'll close them. And it's a really interesting strategy they've had thus far, and to just see them go into complete financial free fall has been kind of terrifying just because of how much stuff they've bought. Like Gearbox was fine before they were bought. And now it's like, what's going to happen to Gearbox? What's going to happen to Crystal Dynamics? What's going to happen to 4A Games, Saber Interactive? Like, they could get closed. Like, you don't know what's going to happen next.
Isn't what's left of THQ Nordic part of theirs?
Yeah.
That this is Embracer Group is a renamed version of THQ, basically. It was what was left of THQ and then backed by an investment firm in Sweden. And then they rebranded to Embracer Group and started buying up old THQ IPs, and it's just kind of ballooned from there. But it's safe to say people are really on edge now, and this has really put a lot of scope into what the downside to acquisition season can be. And I'm not necessarily saying that like PlayStation, Xbox are going to fall into this similar category. But what people need to be more wary of is that, yes, when your favorite studio gets picked up by a publisher, it guarantees more financial security for them in the short term. But depending on what the long-term outcome of that company may look like, you got to be careful what you wish for, because they could be the next ones closed. Like, I don't think Embracer Group shutting Volition was a bad thing, because that is a studio that's underperformed for a decade. Like, they did Gat Out of Hell, they did Agents of Mayhem, and they did the Saints Row reboot, and none of those games did well. So that studio getting shuttered, I'm kind of like, that's kind of what happens. You release a couple of bad games, you get closed down. It happens.
Crystal Dynamics sort of surprised me though.
Yeah, and this is my thing. Is like this is why I don't like Embracer Group as a whole, because like they did that whole statement where they're like, we're going to divest these companies or we'll close them. And like I said, it seemed like a threat to PlayStation, Microsoft, Tencent, and other big publishers. Like, hey, if you like these studios as partners, you better come buy them, because we'll shut them down.
It's like holding the baby out the window. Like, you better come get them.
Yeah, like
pulling an Eric Clapton.
Just
right?
went there with the baby out the window.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
like-
Edgar Clapton.
like-
Wow, it's
like-
like Michael Jackson in Blanket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, come
So-
on.
But now Crystal Dynamics is also supposedly helping to work on Perfect Dark. I'm sorry.
Perfect Dark. Yeah.
I guarantee you Embracer Group sitting there with Crystal Dynamics being like, Xbox, if you don't buy them, we'll shut them down, and then that game's in development hell. Give us
Well, I
$2
think it
billion.
is anyway, dude, to be honest, because when's the last time you heard anything about it?
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I don't think Crystal Dynamics is going to do anything to help that game's problems necessarily, but I definitely think Embracer Group's trying to bait some of the big players into bailing them out of the situation they've put themselves in.
Because what was the name of Microsoft's 4A studio? We haven't heard from them in ages.
The initiative, or
The
The
Initiative.
initiative, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the
they
initiative?
already,
Yeah.
yeah, they already broke up.
Well, I know some people had left.
They already
I didn't-
effed around and found out.
Ah. So I was curious. So they weren't even working on Perfect Dark anymore then.
No, they were just an ideas company. They claim a studio. They made ideas and then they shopped it to.
Well,
other
damn,
folks
dude,
to
everybody
build
can make
for 'em.
ideas. I'm sitting here, I got a
Yeah.
head full of ideas. Fuck.
Exactly. I think
me up, Phil.
Embracer is like people back in the early 2000s buying up all the Beanie Babies in the world, or in the 90s the comic book bubble,
Or in
person.
2020, toilet paper, right?
Yeah,
With-
or
with-
the
with my
2008
ideas-
housing market. It's just, let me buy all of this stuff because it's going to be worth more in a couple of years. And I think Embracer was just buying because other people were buying, and hey, I can sell it because I mean they did flip other stuff. What they flipped, what was that? Crystal Dynamics or whatever. So Amazon could have the rights for Tomb Raider, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 300 million, something like that, to have the rights to do the shows for that. So I think that's what their plan was. And then maybe ABK taking so long kind of screwed with that, or nobody else having any interest. It just started to go down fast, and they're like, oh crap, we got all these studios, nobody's buying anything, nobody's biting. we're just sitting here with all this stuff and look at our spreadsheets and our quarterly profits are nothing.
Yep.
See, Warner
'cause
Brothers
it's not just
was
buying the
another one.
company, it's buying the people, and that hurts.
Wasn't it Warner Brothers that was the other one that was buying up a few things there at one time?
Yeah,
Mm.
well, Warner
Mhm.
Brothers did a bunch of
They merged
gaming
with
side
Discovery
acquisitions, and then,
That's it, Discovery.
yeah, and Warner Brothers is a complicated one because that's they're trying to they were trying to divest a few years ago, but they were trying to sell studios but with no IPs.
Right.
So they're
which
like,
was
you can have
weird.
Rocksteady, but you don't get Batman, and people are like,
Which
so why
we
would I
would
want
take
Rocksteady?
Right.
Like Xbox would
Huh.
take Rocksteady. I'm just saying. Like most of Rocksteady's games are
They
pretty
need
fucking good.
NetherRealm. They need NetherRealm, have fighting game back under their belt.
But like
That as
I think-
well.
I think the
Don't
problem
they
is
own
that-
the studio that owns Killer Instinct?
I think there's just
Yeah,
too many.
but Phil said he wasn't going to use it.
Too many too much corporate overspend in the past few years. There's a company I work for about 10 years ago. Home Depot decided they were going to try buy into the Canadian utility industry. So what they did is they went and bought like 72 minor utility companies. They spent like $800 million on utility companies in like a 1-year period. And they're like, yeah, we're
Wow.
going to get into the utility industry. And then at year end, they're like, hey, our profits tanked because we spent $800 million buying utility companies. And their shareholders went, well, this is stupid. And their stock dumped. So then they went, oh, damn, now we need to sell all these utility companies. So then they dumped all the utility companies in like a 6-month thing to other companies and divested all of it. And I think Embracer Group is just a larger scale version of that. They went,
I can see
this is
that.
a really good idea. Buy it all. And then they went, oh, crap. We don't have the actual skill to manage all this.
Like, oh no, it's
Right,
up again.
right.
That's
What happened to
actually
Billy?
funny.
He had this big idea. What the fuck happened to Billy?
I'm pretty sure they sat there and they're like, haha, we have the rights to Lord of the Rings. We'll just print money now. Well, what are you going to do with the rights to Lord of the Rings? People will pay us for it. But who are the people? There's people.
Them. And
Those
There's
people
some
that want the
nerds.
game. Yeah, it's weird, dude, to watch. I mean, they're
Oh,
like you
man.
said, they're just. It's almost like every couple of days there's something new coming out about Embracer,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, Jesus Christ! And I didn't think much of it until I read your article. I mean, I've been paying attention to it, but I didn't think about it that detailed until I read your article. I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah,
it's bad.
they're
a
set
mess,
to
yeah.
chew financially. I think they said 3.2 billion this year if they don't divest everything. Like their
That's
year
crazy.
end, well, they'll chew $3.2 billion of cash if they
Oh,
can't
my
divest something like
Wow.
32% of their
And
business.
isn't that like 3/4 of their
Damn.
worth?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
because they spent, what was it? I think I was looking at, I'm not 100% sure on it, but they spent something like 214% of their market value in acquisitions.
Somebody's Tesla's going to the pawn shop next week.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Oh
Holy
no, they're all
shit.
getting golden parachutes, and somebody else will.
I don't
replace
think
them.
I don't think he's gonna be lead parachutes, homie. I don't think they're gonna get no gold.
yeah, I was gonna say they're Swedish and Nordic. There's no golden parachutes. There's only concrete parachutes out there.
Yeah,
Mm.
they're gonna get lead.
Hey Nick, let me ask you something.
Very cold.
Has it been said like why Savvy Game Group backed out, or is that one of those things where it's like they want to be like a Tencent as well? Like they don't really want to be. I know they own SNK or whatever, but they're not looking to be like a complete development house. They just want to kind of see return on the investment of being involved with other companies. Like you do the legwork, we get a chunk.
Yeah, Saudi investments. Saudi investments is interesting because they've done a lot of small stuff.
Mhm.
Like they put like 7% into Capcom. They have a chunk in Nintendo.
right.
They're just very quietly investing in really smart and profitable gaming divisions that are seeing high value raise. So like Capcom's been on a good trajectory for a couple of years. That was a smart investment for them.
Oh,
They
no,
did, they
Screw.
did investing in Nintendo. Nintendo's like surefire as
What?
hell.
Right.
by your comment, this isn't anything new, by the way.
Oh no.
Did you
They've been
know
doing that for
Saddam
a while.
Hussein?
Leaks.
Yeah.
Did you know Saddam Hussein owns stock in most of major American magazines.
Yep.
He owned stock in Motor Trend because he knew Americans love cars,
Mm-hmm.
and tons of other. Yeah, this isn't anything new, dude.
Yeah.
How about
Yeah,
Dog Shot? It's not just video games.
Yeah,
Oh.
they've been. Well, I'm just saying when I say some
yeah.
of everything, I mean everything, not just gaming. 'cause
Oh yeah, it's not
they,
just
they
it's
pretty
not just
much
games.
own Lucid Motors. They own like a majority of Lucid Motors, the electric car
Yep.
company. Even though their profits are tanking, they're still putting money in because they know eventually that oil and gas is going to go by the
Well,
wayside.
and in some states,
That's why
they're
they're diversifying.
well,
Yep.
like in California, I think it's what 2024, 2025. They're outlawing gas
20
engines.
2030, any new
Oh.
less than 1 ton vehicles have to be electric. New.
Well, I know they're
vehicles.
doing away with like gas powered lawnmowers, weed eaters.
Right.
chainsaws.
No, I take that back. They bumped it to 2035 for new car sales under 1 ton. Have to be
I was
electric.
gonna say that's because they realize when everyone plugs their Tesla in, they're going to brown out the neighborhood.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm not the only person that felt that way.
No, I work in utility industry. They told us they basically told us that in order to get electric cars to where they need to be and get electricity between everyone, smart homes, their electric cars and everything else, the infrastructure spend for my province alone over the next 15 years is like 10.7 billion. And that's for
Dude.
a province in Canada. That's
I live
not,
at the beach.
yeah. So
I live at the beach, so every time the fucking wind blows, we lose power. So yeah. I mean, we had a tropical storm come through, Friday night.
Yep.
So
He just trying to say he's redneck. No.
No, that's real stuff with me because it's the same here. Like I'm like 10 minutes from the beach, and there when the weather gets or the wind gets too crazy, it's like blinking. Yeah, it's the same thing.
That's what I've said about electric cars since the day they were incepted is we don't have the electrical grids necessary to put an electric car in everybody's home. It's not possible.
Every house would also need.
It's going to be just like
solar.
the internet. Yeah, it's going to be just like the internet. Like, dude, there's still rural communities in America that still don't see internet speeds over 25 megabits a second.
oh yeah.
That's on purpose, though.
I got a gig.
That's on purpose.
That's on. Well, I'm just
Governments
saying,
are not are letting these telecom companies get away with not upgrading and
Oh, I know.
charging more.
They're charging
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
Yep.
They're
But
doing that
anyway,
on
we're not
purpose.
going to have this conversation because we get into a whole 2 days with this one,
Oh yeah.
maybe even longer than that. All right. So, is that your final thoughts on all that, Nick?
Yep.
Because, like I said, dude, I read your article. I was like, damn. It opened my eyes to a lot of it.
It's good. What's going to be really funny is that I want to see the first person that moves, because we really haven't seen any major acquisitions since the ABK deal, and since Embracer's trying to sell inflated prices. I'm just waiting because of how the American FTC's swinging around right now. If, say, PlayStation goes, oh, we're going to buy Gearbox for 4.6 or something ridiculous, I can see the FTC being like, no, we're going to fully investigate. It's just nobody wants to bite right now because
Does that mean that amazing Borderlands movie may not get made now?
Oh,
That
I'm
everyone
glad it's
was
right
looking
about
so
that,
forward to.
Definitely wanted to see that.
Is that the one where Kevin Hart's claptrap, or am I thinking somebody
He's
else?
Roland.
He's rolling.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
You know, the big
wish it'd be
giant
cel-shaded,
soldier
too.
guy. He's rolling.
Did you not see like what's his name? Randy something had put
Oh,
out videos
he
of
is
them
the greasiest
on
fucker out
set
there.
and all that shit.
No.
And was it The Rock that was supposed to play in the movie too?
Oh, man, that thing.
There
Is
was-
I don't know where they are with filming that, and I'll put that in quotes because
I think that's gone the way of Beyond Good and Evil 2
Yeah.
and Skull and Crossbones.
Oh man.
And apparently Perfect Dark.
Yep. At least it's
And
aptly
Factions.
named.
They're all in purgatory at this point. Pretty much anyway.
Man,
Oh,
I forgot
all
about
right.
that Borderlands movie.
Oh.
Dude, it's singed into my brain. I don't remember where I saw the clip. But I was like, Jesus, what is this dude thinking? But then, I watch a lot of horror movies and I'm like, okay, maybe his idea is not so bad. But, I've seen worse, probably.
Mhm.
The next one, and I know we did not talk about this on this show. We've always made it a point not to mention it.
Uh-oh.
ABK.
Dun, 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 dun.
So the CMA, which is not the Country Music Awards, it's the cunts over in, England, UK, whatever you want to call the place, the island across the water. They decided they're going to let Microsoft move forward. I think everybody was a little shocked. I was expecting this shit to drag out for another 2 years, honestly.
Mhm.
But I don't really have a lot to say on it other than the fact, okay, that's good. It's over. We can quit hearing about it. But people, come on. I have saw videos and I've got a ton of people blocked already. And I do mean a ton. I'm already up to 20-some thousand blocked again on my new account.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
But I saw somebody share a video. I don't know how you can take the whole process and just flip it. I don't know. Anyway. But ABK is supposedly going to close now. I'm not sure the date. Is it sometime this month or next month, or was it December?
They're probably going to finish it because I think their date was that they said when they extended it was October. So
October 6th, I believe.
yeah, so with
Okay.
CMA agreeing, I think it's going to be really quick. It's going to be real quick,
Because they don't have anything else to do with the FTC at this point, right?
Right? And they're going to cost them more money if they don't close.
I love it,
close by
dude.
then.
No, seriously, come on. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, I was like, the CMA is going to, dude, these are two American companies. They are both based in America. They do everything American for Americans. Okay. If Europe did the same thing, would we really do this? I'm just saying, like, we wouldn't. It come on. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean, we did throw their tea. We
crazy.
did throw a lot of their tea in the water, dude, back in the day.
Oh yeah, let's go way
But-
back.
Yeah,
to
but they helped come back to
1776.
burn the White
Like,
House,
come
so
on.
that was payback, I guess.
None of
With
us
the
were alive for
Canadians.
that.
That was all us,
Thanks,
baby.
Canadians.
Burn your
Thanks,
goddamn White
Canadians.
House.
Yeah, thanks. You're not so nice, are you?
You're
Dave?
welcome. Oh, we're real nice until you piss us off in the wrong way.
Is that right, eh? Angel, thank you for the $5 super chat. Great work, dudes. I like some of your memes on Twitter, Wilmy. Well, thank you, sir. I try to make everybody smile. Even though I had a shit day myself today, I'm still trying to make the best of it. And it was a shit day. Oh my.
My
But
thoughts
yeah,
on the whole ABK
I
thing is that
agree.
I'm still going to keep all those words muted on Twitter for probably ever, because I can't even imagine what it would be like.
Yeah, nature finds a
Bad.
way, so it's not over.
Actually,
Yeah.
if you
assholes
guys
will find a way.
if you guys need it, there is a bot script that you can run on Twitter on your mobile phone that actually auto mutes like 387 variations of ABK. I've used it. I
Oh,
don't see a
nice.
thing
Oh.
about it anymore.
Wow,
I haven't seen
Nice.
anything in 6 months about it. I am so happy.
pretty good. I've had my mute
Awesome.
list since when was it first announced? Was it like February 2020 or something like that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've had those words in there for now.
Just
I
don't
only
say
saw
you
some of the
You knew then where it was
Yeah.
going.
Just don't go
I
on the
knew.
For You page. Yeah.
So I'll see the odd like retweet come through from now and then, but mostly it's just no. I don't need to hear about this from either side. So
I'm
Yeah.
totally with you, dude. I just wanted to
Yeah.
mention the fact it may be over.
In that
Finally.
regard, Wilmy, I'm happy that at least that part we can get past the hurdle of it. Is it going to close? Is it not going to close? We can get past that and get on to
Right.
the next phase of the bullshit.
The
All
next
I know-
phase is the first game come out, Call of
Yep.
Duty. Is it an Xbox game or is it a? If it's
Right.
great, is it an
It
Xbox
depends-
game or does
Depends
Xbox
on
have
what
nothing to do
podcast
with it?
talks about it, dude. You know that as well as
shock face thumbnail. Xbox ruined Call of
I
Duty
do. The people
with a
like
question mark.
oh god,
Yeah.
what's that whitey dude's name? Reforge. The people like
Yeah.
Reforge. It'll be
MBG.
an Activision game. MBG, that's the other one.
Yeah.
It'll be an Activision game. to everybody that runs a strict
It'll be
Xbox
Call of Duty.
podcast, it'll be a Microsoft Studios game. So, I mean,
Let's-
to me, it's a fucking game. That's it.
Call of Duty will be the first one to come out after this deal is closed. So that's going to be the first fight. And then you'll have folks, well, we still have marketing rights. We got the beta on PlayStation first. So yeah,
Oh
it's going
my
to be
God.
it's going to be a whole bunch of mess.
I've already seen the tweets because you can get the beta code through Xfinity right now if you're a customer, and people are like, "Oh, look, I got my Microsoft might own ABK, but I'm playing Call of Duty first." I'm like, "Oh my god!" All I need this deal. I need this deal to close. I need them to green light a prototype remake, and then get Toys for Bob making a Banjo game, and I'm good. I don't need to hear about ABK for the rest of my life. I'm fine.
And get Bobby
Yeah.
out of there. Go ahead and just move
Yeah.
him on out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like hang him in effigy from the Activision Blizzard headquarters.
Right.
and color a day.
But
now,
I will
wouldn't that
say
set the world
this.
on fire if they were like, yeah, we're thinking Bobby might need to stay on for a while just so we can like
Oh,
transition
no.
this whole thing into like, you know,
No.
That would be a mess. That'd be so much mess.
hey, don't put anything past the corporate man. They will.
Oh no.
You're right. You're right.
Yep.
Yeah.
He'll have daily meetings with Lulu up there, and they'll be smoking cigars, lighting $100 bills on fire and shit.
Dude, I love
mean,
the
like-
Lulu fans. It's like, the Lulu
tweets are
fans are the best.
awesome.
I'm like, really? We're standing a corporate lawyer. Like,
Yeah.
That's what we're doing now.
At least
Okay.
they're
Ooh,
funny.
I love your pants.
tweets
this
are
morning,
funny,
Lulu.
though.
Hi.
No, not so
Hey,
much.
you
Not,
guys
not Lulu
fucking
herself.
weird.
I'm talking about people who stand for Lulu. It's like Lulu has a dog in the fight.
Oh,
She has like a real reason to want this to go through.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
It's
that's
called
why
a
she's saying what she's
$1
saying.
acquisition
Right.
bonus.
Yeah.
But what,
And-
what I
and-
will
It was
say-
that one meme. It was like the freaking meme where she, had the, what was it, like Paperboy, like the game, and throws the freaking stick under his front tire.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
Yeah, that was
yeah.
that was it. That was the
That
end
was
of it.
awesome. That was
And
good.
Angel, I don't hear anybody talking about Immortals. I'm going to download it after I get finished with a couple of other games I've got, but I've not heard anybody talking about this game at this point.
No, they haven't, bro. And that's, I want to pick that game up and play
A
it too.
few,
And
a
it sucks
few.
that they got like, downsized or whatever, because I want more games
Mhm.
like that in the ecosystems. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
We
but they put it out at a horrible time.
Yeah, the timing
Yes.
was awful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even got delayed a couple times too. And then they
Mhm.
just plopped it. What was it? Was it late June when they did it, or was it late July? I can't even remember.
in
It was
July.
late July, closer to August. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like
See,
I
that's
think it
like
was
Alan
also a
Wake.
price thing too.
That's
Yeah,
like
and
Alan
then-
Wake. They moved Alan Wake out, which was probably a smart idea.
Hmm.
So, and I know another game that we were looking forward to at the end of the year. Oh God, shit! It was a complete reboot. Oh God, I can't think of the name of it now. But they moved it to February. They got it away from all.
They got a lot of games.
Oh,
coming
Alone-
into
Alone in the
February.
Dark.
That's it. Thanks, Ben. Yeah, Alone in the Dark. They
February.
moved it all the way to February.
Mm.
there are too many
Now, I
games
will-
now. There is no non-busy time anymore. That's the thing. There is
Exactly.
no
Right.
non-packed time. You either got to knock it out of the park and stand up above 6 other games, or
Because all these
You just
games
get
got
lost,
pushed
right?
back. They're
Yeah.
just going to be stacking.
Oh yeah,
But before we
No
get
doubt about
off ABK, I do want to say this because a lot of people jumping on PlayStation fans for saying this and saying that about Call of Duty and Activision and hoping it not going through. Xbox fans who were just going nutty about Call of Duty was going to be exclusive, you need to shut up too. Because if anybody knows anything about money, there was no way in
Call
hell.
of Booty.
You're-
What?
Yeah, you're gonna make Call of Duty exclusive because it's gonna sell your consoles. If they didn't put all the other games that they had, what's the Minecraft? If they didn't put Minecraft exclusive, they're not gonna put Call of Duty exclusive. It makes way too
Exactly.
much money to
Right.
put that on one
Scrub.
console.
Scrub. I mean, let's
So-
be honest. Those people that do that are just stands as well. You just
That's what I'm
stand-
saying. That's why I'm calling it out. That's why I'm calling it out. Because anybody with half a brain would figure out they would never make that exclusive. Could they
No.
put it in Game Pass? Yes, but they were never gonna make that exclusive.
I don't
So-
know if you'll see it in Game Pass, to be honest.
I
I've
don't
been
think
wondering that
as long
too,
as they got
because-
the marketing deal, the marketing
You might
rights
be
with
right, Willie.
PlayStation, I think it will be eventually, unless the cloud deal with the CMA prevents that. I know
If they want to
because-
make more
Rob, I think-
purchases, they're going to leave it multi-plat all the way.
Right.
It's
And I
always
kind of
gonna be
thought it might
multi-plat,
be
yeah.
I kind of thought it might be like how EA handles like EA Play with like Madden and stuff like that. Like they give you like, you know, you get the 10-hour or whatever. They don't
Mhm.
really release it free until like the next year.
right.
See,
So I
that's
can kind of
kinda what I
see
was thinking
Microsoft
too,
doing
Eric.
that with Call of Duty, you know, like
I can.
it
I
ain't
can
gonna be
go with
free up
that.
front, but eventually. But I think all the old Call of Duty stuff I think will be thrown in there. Absolutely. But I think, yeah, it makes too much money up front to be like,
Mhm.
you know, like day and day. And then, like you said, Scrub, on the reverse of that, people were saying, well, Sony would automatically make it like, you know, exclusive if they were doing. I'm like, no, I don't know
Well,
if they would have done it either because, again, that's money.
I
Right.
think the angle with Call of Duty on Game Pass is going to be angling the subscription with the purchase, and I think there's a really easy way of doing it, because if you buy a game that is quote unquote in Game Pass, you get that Game Pass discount, right? So they
Right.
market Call of Duty as, hey, here's perks for Call of Duty through Game Pass.
Right.
Or
Give
perks
people
for
like
Warzone.
give you like a skin pack or whatever, your like welcome pack with some COD points or whatever.
Here, dress
get
like
the-
Nicki Minaj and go shoot people.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's
Like,
ridiculous.
Hams.
Get the Ice Spice skin pack.
Oh my god! I just wish
See,
they
I-
Hams
I-
again.
I would laugh harder if that was actually like a fake joke that Willie just said, but it's actual 100%
Right.
reality.
I know, that's the sad part.
Mhm.
I'm like, that ain't my Call of Duty.
dude.
I don't
I
even play Call of Duty. I'm just like, wow.
Remember,
man,
people
where are we
revolted
going?
over the Santa skin in Battlefield, and now Call of Duty.
Come
has
shoot
it.
my, come shoot my. What is that? Is that the one that sings that song WAP?
no.
She the one that song WAP?
No,
She's
no, that's
dead.
not.
Oh.
No, she's not.
Itching
No,
himself
no,
real
no,
quick.
no WAP.
WAP was Cardi B.
There you
Okay.
This
go.
is correct.
Oh, yeah, the lady-
Oh
the
yeah,
lady
Megan
that,
Thee Stallion, right?
Yeah.
Some
Yeah,
yams,
that's
too.
the lady that makes music for women that sprays their panties with Febreze.
No. The best line I
All
ever
right.
heard.
Have a
is,
good night.
the best one I ever heard is Cardi B makes music for people that wash paper plates.
There you go.
Wow, that's a good one. I never heard that one. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
But yeah, no.
She
I
makes.
think-
I got to do another one. She makes music for women whose children are their world, but they live with their grandmother.
Oh.
They live with the grandmother overnight.
Yeah, I might have to go now.
Now every night.
Oh,
Woman's gonna have the Cardi B stands after him now.
all 12 of them.
Good thing they don't listen.
There's
Oh, my
13.
Yeah, I can't imagine any of them listening. So
Oh man, but yeah, no, I think they'll angle the Game Pass deal. You'll get a discount on Call of Duty on Xbox, and they'll use that in marketing too. Like they'll absolutely be like, you pay more for Call of Duty on other platforms, and
That I can see. Yeah.
they'll angle a cheaper price and skin pack with COD points, and that'll be enough for the COD guys to be happy. Like you don't
That's
need
all
to,
it takes.
and that's the thing is this isn't about keeping your Game Pass crowd happy. This is about keeping your Call of Duty players happy.
Players, yep.
Yeah, this is
I can
about
see it.
COD fans. This ain't about PlayStation fans. This ain't about Xbox fans. This is about COD fans.
yeah,
And-
if they can come and put it, if they can make the new Call of Duty via Game Pass cheaper than the guys who only play Call of Duty and they only play Call of Duty, cheaper than buying the game outright, then yeah, that's a strategy right there that they need to. They
Yo,
need to
that
come up
is a
with that.
great strategy. There's
They
there's
have
plenty
to
of
do that.
people
They have to do
switched.
that.
There's plenty of people
Right.
switch from Xbox to PlayStation because you could get the beta early and on PlayStation.
And then there's dumbasses
also-
like me that buys it on both.
Yeah, and also
And
the
there's
Call
guys
of
like me who
Duty
don't buy it at
League
all.
and all your pro players, when they watched them play it on stream or play in the Call of Duty League, they would see them with a PlayStation controller. It
Mhm.
used to be on the Call of Duty League, you see the PlayStation name all over during the time you watch it. So when those kids watch their favorite streamer, or when they can get the beta early, or their best friends playing it on this console, people move to that console because that's the cool thing to do. That's what everybody's doing.
You know what
So
would be
Xbox
hilarious?
can make their money if they do it right.
Yeah,
They'll make their money,
hilarious if they went in and crunched the numbers and actually came to the fucking conclusion that we're gonna PlayStation's gonna pay us for the marketing anyway, because that's gonna make more actual money for us than having it on our own platform.
No, I don't think they'll ever do that.
I'm just saying, if people got together, crunch numbers, be like, ooh, well, maybe.
I think
never know.
that'd be bad business practice.
Well,
Making more money isn't bad business practice.
I also think that when Call of Duty marketing, is wrapped up this year, because I think this is the last year for this specific contract deal. I definitely think when Xbox and Activision come to the table with PlayStation, if they came to them with a new contract, that number would hurt a lot more than the one Activision was giving them. Even if they did come to the table with a deal
Activision
like
was
that,
pissed off anyway, too.
It'll be more, no doubt.
yeah,
they
but
stopped the deal.
I think ultimately, like, it's definitely a mind share thing, because I saw some people go, well, they'll put Call of Duty in Game Pass just to get subscription numbers up, and it's like, no, because they won't cannibalize how profitable Call of Duty is in order to get Game Pass subscribers. That's not a 1-for-1 that they can do. And like, yeah, if you don't put Call of Duty at launch in Game Pass, it's like, hey, that's an Xbox first party game that isn't launching in Game Pass. What gives? I think they're going to go, well, technically speaking, they're not an Xbox game studio. It's ABK and Xbox. They're going to play off that lingo that they've kind of cultivated with Bethesda, where it's like, they're part of us, but they're not inherently part of us. And I think that
I could see that.
That will be the cop. I don't want to call it a cop out. I think it's a smart business strategy to do that, because I think putting
the massaging of the phrasing.
Yeah, and that's 100% what these companies absolutely do. It's the same thing of Jim Ryan with the FTC massaging the phrase of, well, we get more value out of Bungie than we would ABK. No, if you had the opportunity to buy ABK, you would have bought ABK. Like, let's keep a buck.
He's not completely lying. I will say that.
But the thing is like, Call of Duty marketing and Destiny marketing were great for PlayStation 4 at launch. They had two hyper competitive shooters that people loved, and they had the primary marketing for. And it made up for slow first party woes at the beginning of the PS4, and then the PS4 took off and did amazing. So I expect Xbox will be, well, I would hope they would be smart with leveraging Call of Duty. And I'm interested to see what they do actually settle on. That's the most interesting part of this deal. That, and I actually want to see how much they actually fulfill on the promise of wanting to dive into Activision's back catalog. That is another thing that I'm interested in, is like, how interested are you in the back catalog of games that Activision has in terms of IP and stuff? Like, can we see another Tony Hawk game? Can we, what are we going to see in the future? That stuff really interests me. I really don't care about the numbers on it, but
and that's
where I'm interested too.
For Game
I'm interested
Pass,
in that too. But I'm curious, will they be interested in diving into that? Because again, that's all still, that's like development that they have to still take on to get all that stuff out as well. So I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what I don't think people are thinking about that either. Like how much they're actually taking on with all of their acquisitions over the last 5 years, plus this one.
Yep.
And let's be honest, they haven't been the greatest at management.
Well,
so they have a long road ahead of them to get all this stuff figured out and what they're going to be doing.
And let's face it too, ABK's management historically is not been solid, to say the least. So I'll be interested to see, but like, I think they've got opportunities with Activision IP, and I think they need to be smart with it. Like I said, you have a world where PlayStation sang the world on fire with Spider-Man. Bring Prototype back and be like, yeah, Spider-Man's cool, but do you just want to be an absolute evil bastard?
I could go for a new Prototype, dude. That'd be awesome.
I love that game.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
I did too.
It's just like you get to be bad. You just like be a villain. I was like, cool.
I had the collector's edition and all that good stuff. Remember the last one, Prototype 2?
Yep.
I had it, and this was about 7-8 years ago. I was having my roof replaced, and it was supposed to be just the shingles. We were having a metal roof put on. Since I live at the beach, I wanted that new metal roof, that's wind resistant and all that good stuff.
Last forever.
Yeah, well, the day my roofer came and they all got started, homeboy decided to rip off a whole lot of the roof at one time. And in the Carolinas, you always get these weird, just random thunderstorms for no reason. And they had over half my roof ripped off, and it fucking started pouring rain. So, yeah, that collector's edition got fucking trashed along with some of the other stuff. And yeah, I can't even find them anymore. At least you find them on eBay, and then they're not worth anything.
So roofers fuck up no matter where you go. Because, I mean,
oh yeah, dude. No matter where
I had
you
a
live,
new roof put
roofers
on a couple years ago. He's been over here like 4 times. I'm like, yo, carport is still leaking, dude.
Well, hey, I did not come out bad. I will not complain because when he came to my front door and realized what had happened, and I was giving him a death stare, didn't even speak because we were all trying to get everything covered so it didn't ruin, the 83-inch television mounted to the fucking wall and everything else.
Right.
He just stood there kind of speechless. And he was like, labor's free.
Oh, okay.
I was like, good. It should be.
Yeah.
Because the roof that was going to cost me I don't even remember how many tens of thousands of dollars. Well, it just cost me, buying all the material. And I've not had a single leak.
Can't be mad at that.
No, dude, not being actually referring to other people.
Nah, those metal roofs are good. Those metal roofs are good, man.
Oh yeah, I refer him to other people. He actually did my daughter's house. So yeah, I've not had a single problem, and I still talk to the guy. It was just his fuck up, man. It was sunny when they started, so they kept ripping shit off, and just that random thunderstorm came up, and it messed up some of my collectibles. But it is what it is. You can't, shit happens.
Hey, that would have made it right with me too, man, because the labor is definitely the bitch. So I would have been like, okay.
Oh yeah, dude.
We're good. Yeah.
Yeah, because he didn't want to be sued either. So
right.
Yeah, right. My ceilings collapsed, in my living room, kitchen, dining room. Yeah. So luckily I do what I do. So I didn't have to have, a cleanup crew. So yeah, it was a bitch. But enough of that.
A new prototype.
Last topic.
Yes.
Yep. New prototype would be amazing. But last topic. Tokyo Game Show. Did anybody watch it? Because I'm gonna be honest, I did not watch it at all. I've not had time.
Watch it either.
Nope.
I didn't.
You didn't miss much.
I could say I did.
Unless you love JRPGs.
Not my
if you
thing.
love anime style games.
I don't like
they
anime
have
at all.
Plenty.
I'm starting to dabble in a little bit of anime. Like I just played like Zonwan Sword 7.
Would you say hentai? What'd you say?
No, I don't know.
I know what hentai is.
I'm married.
wrong.
I'm married. I don't need to freaking watch some animated freaking like nude show. That's like, yeah. No.
Oh, my girl's good with it. I'm all right. Sorry, bro.
It was a good show for the audience that they were trying to attract. That's what I'll say. If you're into that style of games, it was perfect for you. If you're somebody who loves Western RPGs, or you love shooters, or if you love sports games, it was a snooze fest for you, because that's mainly what you got.
Well, to be fair, if you were going in expecting that, then you're just
so what you trying to
highly
say,
That's
bro?
what I'm saying.
So I mainly watched just to see from a business perspective, because that's just how I am, what Xbox was doing to capture attention in a region that they are known for not being very successful.
And I think they did pretty good for that point. That's what I was thinking, Cent. For that point, I think they did a good job.
We're also seeing steps of localization. Like everybody's always called for Xbox to have localization. And now Elder Scrolls Online, I guess here by the end, I I know they gave a date, but now Elder Scrolls Online is going to be totally localized in Japanese. So Xbox is starting to hear the fan base, especially from that part of the world, that they don't want to play games that are not natively localized in their actual language.
Mm.
And they
Yeah,
another Yakuza game,
makes sense.
so that was cool.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was good to. Dude, it's also interesting to watch that developer from Yakuza just talk about how they started 20 years ago on a game franchise that they thought people would not be interested in.
And two, the fact that you see the head of the company, you see Phil come out. Of course, he came, did his talk, and then it was pretty much Sarah Bond taking over and anybody else that talked. But you don't see Jim Ryan anywhere. Like the last PlayStation State of Play, I'm not saying that he had to run the show or do all the talking, but at least show your face. So it was good to see Phil in there. If it wasn't for us, but to let the Japanese know, the gamers there know that we're just not passing it on to somebody else. I am very invested in this, have gaming grow in Japan, and we're trying to bring a great offering to the people who play the games in there to entice more people to Xbox. So I think they did a good showing at that.
Was PlayStation
Fair
even
enough.
there in any way?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't even.
Yeah,
I don't really think they had much.
I
of a
watched the
presence
whole
there, right?
week.
We had a writer that did Tokyo Game Show, like flew out, did media access and everything else. They had a Indies booth and a PSVR 2 booth set up, but they didn't have anything like a major floor booth or anything else.
Mm.
That sucks.
So there, but not. So much.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
we've been there.
PlayStation is kind of
They were
in-
there-ish.
Well, I was talking to our writer that was there, and he said there's kind of this air of all the games you play at Tokyo Game Show are running on PS5s for the most part. So does PlayStation really need a stage presence when
Good point.
90% of the games you're playing are on PlayStation 5?
That makes sense.
But that being said, it would be cool to see PlayStation continue to fight for the Japanese market because Nintendo pretty much has free reign over there. In terms of what they sell and everything else, it'd be cool to see PlayStation still fighting the battle over there, metaphorically, so to speak. But as we've kind of seen with a lot of the conventions and stuff, PlayStation just doesn't seem to have an interest as a company in the convention space, which is,
Isn't it weird that everybody ignores the OG in the room? I mean, seriously, like Nintendo, like everybody ignores it. Like
Yep.
PlayStation ignores them, Xbox ignores them. It's just like, dude, like think about it. They have better profit margin than anybody else.
I think it's
they're a
just. I think it's
smaller
just.
company,
If you come for the
but-
king, you better not miss. And PlayStation and Nintendo are like, yeah, we're gonna
Exactly.
miss, so we just not gonna bother.
Yeah, you're not going to hit those profit margins. It's just like Ferrari. Ferrari profit margins on their cars are like 60%, and your Toyota and your profit margin is 7%. You're never going to try to, let's outdo Ferrari, because then you'd be selling your cars for like $2,000. So it's one of those things you acknowledge that they're there, but you're not gonna, you won't be able to compete.
Well, as far
You're fighting for second.
I gotta interject real quick. As far as like profit margin when it comes to putting out content, and I think that's where Microsoft's going wholeheartedly. I think they're just like, we're gonna have more content than anyone else. And there's only one other company that's really truly done that, and that's Netflix. Say what you want, they raised the price, and people just kept coming. And they have been.
I still have
sitting
Netflix,
pretty
yeah.
for a while.
Yeah,
Well, I
they're
mean,
still
dude,
they're still
they
underwater.
have
They're
some
trying to
good
catch up.
content, dude. They really do.
Some of it is, yeah.
Not all of it. I'm not gonna, say that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I don't just not watch Netflix. I watch Prime. I watch whatever's, I'm not paying for, or I've been paying for, one or the other. And I look at those and I'm like, well, Netflix, it draws me back with weird shows, but that's because I watched a show before it, and then all of a sudden I'm interested in like this genre, and they have that genre.
I think
There's
Dahmer
not
was the
a
last
lot of
thing I watched on
companies.
Netflix.
There's not a lot of companies that are allowed to do that. But gaming wise, like, I mean, you got Hi-Fi Rush. Everybody's like, "Oh, this is the greatest game ever." I haven't heard anybody like really trash that game. Truly, I mean, think about that game, and then you go to Starfield, and yeah, people trash it because it's supposed to be the second coming of Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, it's not. I mean, it's a Bethesda title. Let's be honest, but seriously, like, Xbox has different genres, and they need to continue to do that. Fighting, they haven't done shit with it, and they have the opportunity. Killer Instinct, I'm sorry, as far as like gamer wise, if they actually made it right, I think it would be amazing because people haven't experienced this in a very long time. Combo breaker, combo breaker. I mean, come on. Like, it's been a long time. You know what I mean? Like, make it right. You know, but there are things they're lacking in. But if they actually choose to say, hey, you know what, we can make something great, and they do it, that's where they become an upper echelon of actually being like the center console of gaming. But until they do that, it's always going to be PlayStation. Let's be honest.
Well,
That's the way it is.
The biggest thing is I think there's a lot of envy in terms of, I feel like in terms of business design from PlayStation to Xbox and how Nintendo operates, because like PlayStation and Xbox have done a really good job of evolving from like the 360, and the PlayStation 3 have kind of carved out a new path. Nintendo is still putting out Nintendo games. They have not changed how they do their games. They stick to their guns. Like, the thing that will always floor me, and Jeff Grubb does this all the time, and people say, oh, this amazing sales number for this first party exclusive from PlayStation or whatever, and he goes, yeah, it still didn't do as much as Luigi's Mansion 3 though.
Yeah.
And like
exactly.
Luigi's Mansion 3 has sold 13 million copies. Like, it's a spin-off of Mario that's like Ghostbusters with Luigi in it, and it sells like hotcakes. Mario Kart 8 says sold like 40 million copies. Like,
Dude, that game's probably sold more than that by now.
Yeah.
It probably sold another 4,000 while you were saying that.
and that's the thing, is like Nintendo's got all these IPs, they just throw them out into the ether. And when I say they throw them out there, I'm not saying they're not high quality releases. I'm just saying they put these games out and people just scoop them up no matter what. And like PlayStation and Xbox would love to have that, but they constantly have to deliver more and more enticing content and differentiating their content constantly and evolving what their offering is. And Nintendo goes, no, you buy a Nintendo console for Nintendo games. And if you choose to buy other people's games on our console, cool. But our primary focus is you buy our software.
Yeah.
We don't care about anything else.
See,
like,
that-
I do
that-
not honestly believe that Nintendo cares about third-party software sales on their console, because you
Yeah.
look at that Mortal Kombat 1
I was just about to
release
say that.
and you tell me they care about their third-party relationships. They don't.
No.
They don't. Like, I feel like
You're
Nintendo's
damn
like,
right.
oh, Nintendo's like, oh, you bought a third-party game on your on our console? You dumb as hell. But thanks.
Yeah,
for
that's
$70.
bad on you, dude.
God bless your heart.
Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks for the paycheck.
Like,
Bless your
like
soul.
people buying into, like, my kids run my Switch basically, and my wife has a Switch too. And like, it's Animal Crossing, it's Minecraft, it's Luigi's Mansion, Mario. whatever the case may be.
That's
It's
where
all
my
Nintendo
point
stuff.
was. That's where I was thinking, dude. Like, Xbox has this little slight niche. They bought Mojang. They have continued to support multi-platform gaming with Minecraft. There is no Sony IP that does that right now.
Destiny.
There's none. And that's where you go and say the young gamers that get thrown a phone or a Switch or something in their hand, and then they look at it and they're like, "Oh, what's this Minecraft thing?" I mean, really, like Minecraft's such a simple thing, but the name itself, I don't know. It brings this thought process like, hey, I can do stuff. And then you start seeing videos, and you're like, you're not interested in it, but you're like, oh, let me look this up. Let me see what it is. This is a kid thought process, by the way. And then they go and say, oh, wow, I could build like a mansion. I could do this. I could dig underground until no end. Like all these possibilities. That's something that Sony hasn't provided in a long time. When I grew up, they did, but I feel like it's all linear, and eventually that's going to either hurt them or help them. I don't know yet. I'm just sitting here as a gamer that's 37 years old in December. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Like, I have played in arcades. I have done all these things throughout my life that involved gaming. I've argued about Sega versus Nintendo, all those things. And I say, I don't know, dude. Like, it could go either way. But if Microsoft sticks to their guns and does what they're doing, Call of Duty could be something special. You never know. If they actually give it an extra year, actually let them develop it, bring down the studios, don't have as many working on it, I think, they could come into like this fold of just making something even better than what we've seen, which I'm going to be honest, like there's been many times when I'm like, should I download this? Should I pay for this? Nah, Xbox is going to buy them. And then I'll get in Game Pass. They're not my type of games. I've always said this. They're not my I'm a Gears player. Like I love Gears. You know what I mean? Like that's what I love. Okay, like if you play multiplayer, it's just as good as a single player. I'm sorry. Like people could say whatever they want. You go play the single player and multiplayer of Gears of War 5, Gears 5, thanks, Rod. That's the point, dude. Like there's not a lot of games that can do that. And at PlayStation, I haven't seen it since what? SOCOM 4? I mean, come on. That's a long time. Bring out a single player and a multiplayer. I haven't seen it.
Factions
Halo
is coming.
Infinite. No, Jesus, no. All right, I'm done.
Wilmy,
you,
you
Scott.
gotta hit his mute button. He ran over a minute. Come on, you're sleeping on that thing. I'm kidding.
Is that your dog? It sounds like a bug right now.
That's hilarious.
Okay. Wow. All right. Jesus.
My middle
Christ.
finger is for you right now.
We survived all that.
Oh,
Okay.
You
On that note-
would have absolutely cut my ass off if you fucking thought I was wrong. Man.
I quit listening to you after about the minute and a half mark. Sorry. I was texting. Anyway, that's it. We got to cut it out of here. We got to get everybody out. It's that time.
Get us out.
Crispy.
Get us-
Tell everybody where they can find you, dude.
God, he gets to talk again immediately. Jesus.
I know, but this is without pressure.
Oh,
It'll be
you
short.
You just no, I'm not gonna say it. Fuck me off, motherfucker. At Chris Baum on Twitter, Chris Baum 28, Xbox Live. You can find me on Breakfast with Boom Fridays, 10 a.m. And of course, back here on this shit show, 7 p.m. Sundays, Gaming Beyond the Box. We'll see you then.
All right, fair enough. And smokeless Marlboros. All right,
There
Scrub,
you
tell
go.
everybody where they can find you, sir.
I got the
Oh yeah, I appreciate everybody coming out. Thanks, Eric and Nick, for jumping in with us. Shout out to the replay gang. You can find me, Scrub Nurse 3, on Twitter. Scrub Nurse with the number 3 behind it. You can also find me on Twitch, especially this last week. I'm streaming almost every other day. I'll
On
probably
Call of
start
Duty.
doing that more on Call of Duty. That's right.
We'd never
Hanging
guess.
out with my clan. So y'all come check me out, having fun. When I'm not doing that, who knows what I'll be doing. You can also find me on Xbox at Scrub Nurse. So that'll be a space between Scrub and Nurse. So thank y'all for coming out. See y'all next week.
It's so weird to me. You go by Scrub Nurse, and we all know you're a damn drug dealer. I just don't get it.
Well,
But
I mean, it's the nurse and pharmaceuticals. It kind of sells and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'll
works
go with
together,
that.
so,
Yeah.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Wait a
we
minute.
don't-
I
we
thought
don't-
he was in the purchasing and selling of human organs.
Well, I was trying to be nice
That's
to
what
say drug dealer.
Yeah.
Like
That's what I tell
Peniac, nobody
people.
knows he's actually a male prostitute. We don't talk about that.
Well, everybody knows now.
Yeah, it's my bad, dude. Yeah, the coffee never kicked in. All right, Eric,
He wears.
tell
a lot
everybody
of
where they can
cap.
find you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for joining.
Guys. No, thanks for having me. It's been great. Always love kicking it with you guys. So thanks for having me. But you can find me on Twitter, EC Jackson with an X, and on all the platforms, same thing, EC Jackson with an X, except for Switch, where they use the prison ID system for some reason.
Yeah,
But,
it's your social security number plus your
yeah.
firstborn child's birth date, the year your mother was
Exactly.
born.
Exactly. But yeah, other than that, man, you can find me later this week in Night City. I'll be doing my very first playthrough of Cyberpunk because I waited for everything to kind of come together.
Please do it. It's so
Yeah,
good.
I
It's
can't
so
wait,
good.
man.
It's so good.
I skipped the launch for obvious reasons, and then
That's
I
a
got
whole
to a
different
point.
game.
That's right here, and I got to a point to where it was like, the DLC's like around the corner after they did that first update, which fixed a lot of stuff, and then I heard the new update was coming, and then the DLC. I said, you know what, might as well wait for the whole package. So I'm hyped. I'm ready, man.
It's well worth it.
Yeah.
You're just gonna be honest. You're just gonna spend the rest of the night watching Dolphins highlights from today.
Ooh, man,
That was ridiculous.
man.
That's
70.
spicy. Oh Lord.
They dropped 70.
I need
Crazy.
Coach McDaniels to adopt that Bill Belichick style. It's like, yo, all right, well, we got the score running, but we're gonna go ahead and go for this record and put in like 14 more points. But no.
I saw
Real
that
talk,
score,
that was
I
a great.
like,
That was
se-
crazy
seven,
to watch.
No, not 70. Like 70? And then I
Yeah.
looked, I'm like, oh my god.
That was
Sucks
insane.
to be-
That was insane.
Sucks
man.
to be
And,
you.
and the
I'm a
Cowboys
Chiefs
lost,
fan.
so
I'm
rejoice.
used to having it the other way around. Like someone's
Everybody's happy on the
And
Cowboys.
no. So, but no, thanks for having
Okay.
me, guys. I appreciate it.
Tim Pool.
I know
is
how
the-
the sports thing gets. We'll be here till 11 o'clock. And I'll still have no idea what any of y'all are talking about.
I'm a
And-
Chiefs fan. I'm all good.
And Nick, dude, it was good to have you back, man. It's been forever. And I do mean forever. So-
I appreciate being back. I'm glad you cut off the Dolphins talk because as a Denver fan, I'm on suicide. watch.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
condolences.
I appreciate that.
Let's
You
ride.
get, you get the Bears next week though, so that could be okay.
We're still going to lose by 1 point. It's fine. You can find me on Twitter at NicholasCC Radio, and you can find me on Chico Radio every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and all written work at lordsofgaming.net.
And it was great to have you as always.
Always a pleasure to be here.
And Centurion, tell everybody where they can find you, sir, since we dug you back up this week.
Yes. Awesome show tonight. I enjoyed conversating with everybody here. Great to be back. For those interested in finding me, you can find me at Centurion1307, Xbox Live, Twitter, and of course YouTube. You can also find me right here, Gaming Beyond the Box, 7 p.m. Eastern. And you can also find me on the TXR podcast right after this show with Invader and them. And yeah, man, it was great conversate with you guys again.
We missed you with every bullet so far.
So is
Peniac,
everybody else.
Peniac, tell everybody where they can find you, dude.
Here Sunday nights with all these gents. Thanks Eric, thanks Nicholas for coming in, talking, chatting. Had some good laughs. My throat will be better next week, I think. And yeah, more Baldur's Gate coming up this week for me. So
And remember, they
Holy
call those glory holes for a reason, sir.
well, I haven't run into one of those yet, but I would not be surprised if it's in-
Okay. Well,
Bring
I
a
don't say anything else.
soul into a.
Yeah, he got to walk right into that, didn't he? All right. And of course, you can find me here every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can find me on Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam. Just look for Wilmy Hood. You won't find me on Nintendo. Sorry, I outgrew Nintendo about 35 years ago. It just does nothing for me anymore at this point in my life at all.
It
Nothing
looks
at
like
all.
shit. Mhm.
My grandson has a ball with his little Switch Lite, but that's about as far as we get with it. And you can find me on Twitter if you look for Wilmy Hood #2. And on that note, I want to thank my guests again for being here this week, and go off, play some games, and mute anything that says ABK on your timeline. You'll thank us all for it.
Mhm.
And we will see you all back here next week. I do think.
Bye.
Hopefully. We got a shot, right? Maybe. If I can find the outro. Ah, here it is.
Maybe.